Hi guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. This is day 22 of my putting up a video every day in April. And yes, I am still filming them, recording them, and putting them up on the same day because I have not yet gotten ahead. And yes, I do own the mini black shirts. Alright, today's video is about the series that I love, but I kind of don't want to finish them because I'm afeared. I mean, it's the most honest reason why. Now, first up on this pile, I have the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabatahir. This is the third book, A Reaper at the Gates. Ember in the Ashes is a fantasy that is set in this Roman-inspired kind of martial empire. Leia lives with her grandparents and her brother. They are just trying to basically live and exist and keep under the radar when Leia's brother is arrested for treason. In order to help her brother, she kind of goes undercover in this great military academy in the Martial Empire. Now, this is not a good place for her to be because Leia and people like her have kind of been looked down upon, sometimes enslaved, treated like shit, and just oppressed and overthrown by the Martial Empire. But she's willing to become a slave in this like really horrible, terrible place in order to help the rebellion and save her brother. In this, she meets Elias, who is a soldier in the Empire, and they fall for each other because Elias thinks he doesn't necessarily agree with all the things that the Empire are doing, even though he is one of its top military graduates. I love this series so much, but it just got like, I got like a quarter way through this book and I was like, no, I can't, I'm not ready because then I have to wait for book 4. I don't know, I just do that when I really like books, so now I'm like, I need to wait until book 4 is getting ready to come out, then finish this and read book 4 because I just don't want it to end. Also, where it's at right now, it's just very heart twisty. Thank you very much, Miss Sabatahir. And I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Next up is the Red Rising series. Now, this is kind of like a sequel series to the Red Rising trilogy. Like, the Red Rising trilogy was 3 books, and then we have Iron Gold, and there's Dark Age, and there's going to be another book. So there's like a trilogy after the trilogy, but it's all the same people. So I've talked in this series of videos I've done this month about Darrow in Red Rising before, and Darrow is probably one of the most irritating characters I've ever read. However, these books are incredible. Like, it's amazing to me that Pierce Brown can keep me so entranced, enraptured, like just tied into these books where I fucking hate the character whose POV we're in. Now, in Iron Gold, we get a bunch of different characters' POVs, but Darrow did something in this book that is just like, I already know the shit is gonna hit the fan majorly, and he just messed up a lot of people who I really like. I mean, he's been doing that for 4 books, but where it left off at the end of this book, okay, this is gonna be spoilery, so if you don't want to be spoiled, like, mute me until I put the book down, and hopefully my dog quits running into my camera. In Iron Gold, we get Darrow and the gang 10 years later. We also get different characters' point of views. We see what Cassius and Lysander are doing, as well as 2 other characters who were kind of impacted by the actions that Darrow took in the previous 3 books. Now, at the end of this book, everything kind of comes to a head, and Darrow's child is kidnapped along with Severo's kid, and Severo being his best friend, and Darrow is just like, well, it's probably too late to do anything about it now. My wife's probably already mad at me. Kids might very well be dead, so next. And they're like, you're not going to go help? And he's like, for what? It's probably too late. Let's do something else. Then I have the Six of Crows duology by Lee Bardugo. Six of Crows is kind of, it's this heist book in this fantasy world that has an overlay of kind of this gangster mob feel with the way Casberger and his gang of dregs kind of run. They're just like one big old found family, but there's like one big old found family that's a gang and run by somebody who's pretty damn scary. I personally fucking love Casberger. Anywho, this is also going to be spoilery. Otherwise, you won't know why I don't want to finish it. So, you're warned. So, in this one, Kaz is asked to pull off this heist. He is pretty much all about the papers. He's like, you want me to pull off this heist and you'll pay me? Fuck yes. So, he and his gang pull off this crazy, incredible heist, but then Inej, who is his love interest, gets kidnapped. Now, this love story that takes place in this book is the slowest of slow burns. The slowest of slow burns. And I've been spoiled for book 2 and found out that that relationship, like, it makes headway. But it basically makes headway in, like, sorting out the feels, not more so towards them being an actual couple. So I'm not ready for that because, like, I am a heavy romance reader, so I'm like, that's not much payoff for me romance-wise. Even though these are pretty much 2 very fucked up characters, and for them that is leaps and bounds. But they kiss or something? No? Okay. Anyway, that's petty and stupid. But also because there's only 2 books, I'm not ready to read this because I know that is all the development I'm going to get for them 2 because their story is over. Unless they make an appearance, cameos in her other series, which I don't think they do. I'm just really what it is just I know there are 2 books. I read up until the point where Kaz got Inej back. And then I was like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I stopped. And I never picked it back up. Because I'm childish like that. Then I have The City of Brass by S.A. Chakrabarty. Y'all have heard me talk about this book like friggin' crazy. This is a fantasy that takes place, like, it starts off in Cairo, and then from there they go into this I think it's Middle Eastern inspired, or is it South Asian? I'm not sure. It's this Asian inspired world where there are jinn, a whole bunch of jinn, and the jinn are broken down into, like, different cultures. They have different political beliefs, different religious beliefs. Like, it's insane, the level of detail and world building in just the fantasy world, not just in, like, the human world where the main character Nari starts, but into the fantasy world. Nari, who's the main character, is this kind of street rat who is very world weary, like, for her age. And basically at this point she's just doing what she's got to do to live, even if that means she screws over people. She doesn't believe in magic, so telling people that she's healing them, even though it's technically using magic that she has, it's just a means to an end. And then she accidentally gets sucked into this world with jinn and these other creatures, and she's right in the middle of, like, this crazy political warfare, and it's insane. So where it left off, again, this is about to be spoilery, so if you have not read this book, come back when I put this book down. Mute me until then. And just, like, look down here and don't read my lips and stuff. But anyway, at the end of this book, Nari is kind of, she was falling for Ali, who was one of the king's children. There are 2 brothers. And she's also in, like, this weird love triangle position with Ali and then Dada Yabahush. Dada, or one of the jinn who she meets up with in the beginning of the book, who's, like, trying to save her. Maybe she doesn't really know. She really can't trust anybody, but she seems to trust Ali more than everybody else. He seems to be the most genuine. So she's in this weird kind of love triangle position with him, but she's leaning more towards Ali because he is more honest and upfront and kind of guileless compared to everybody else in this situation. But then Ali gets banished, and she is forced to decide whether or not she is going to allow herself to be put in this political marriage with Ali's brother, whose name I can't remember. I think it's Muntadir. Maybe. I can't remember. So she can either follow the king's directive and marry the other son, or die, basically. Like, it's not spelled out that she'll die, but her options are not good. And after this, Ali gets banished. So we end this book. I did start the second book, and in the start of the second book, we see what's happening with Ali. He's not near anybody else. We see what happened and the decision Nari made with whether or not she was going to marry the brother. And just everything looks really bleak. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not. Like, even though it could possibly have a resolution that I would really like as far as the characters and the romances and stuff, the way the book left off is that even as the person who's, like, looking at everything from far back and not being the characters in the story, it's really hard to determine who is trustworthy, who's telling the truth. I mean, we know the king is not. Like, we can X that mug out. But, like, Dada, who is one of my front runners, I really don't know how I feel about him because he is very secretive. He keeps everything close to the chest, and some stuff he doesn't even remember. So it's like, are you lying or do you not know? Do you not know? Are you lying? Is this some mix of the both? Like, how much of it is this and how much of it is this? It's really hard to tell. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not ready for that level of, like, I'm ready for it. The story is amazing, but I'm just like, I'm not ready to have my hopes and dreams dashed. Then we get to the 2 most emotionally devastating books out of this pile that I have. First up, I am going to go with the Daughter Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. Just holy fucking shitballs. So, this book, which is fucking gorgeous, by the way. This is the international edition, not the American edition. The American edition, you can't see because it's behind the lamp. This book is about this girl / woman named Karu. Karu lives kind of torn between two worlds, where she has her human friends, and then she also has this hidden family that none of her human friends know about because they're all like chimera. They're all this mash of different types of beasts, and they speak. And she just kind of draws them in her sketchbook, and nobody who's seen her sketches knows that these are real people. These are not fantasy creatures that she's made up. This is her family, her parent figures, her parental figures. This book, I'm not going to tell you much more than that, because part of the wonder of Laini Taylor's writing is the discovery of the story and the detail as you go, and you find out just how much stuff ties in. If you believe nothing else I tell you on this channel, believe me when I say that this woman's writing, like, as you delve into the world, it's not like you kind of get an immediate feel for the world, but it's in a good way, because it's like you discover really how much like everything ties together, and it's not just like a random detail here. Like, I think I want the magic to do this. I also wanted to be able to do this, but not this. Like, everything is thought out. Everything has a reason. Every little detail that you thought was just like passively a little thing, it all like adds up into this like giant, super creative, very detailed magic system in this incredible world. And oh my god. But at the end of this book, oh shit, this is about to be spoilery, so if you have not read this series, same, mute me until I put the book down. But over the course of this book, Karu, while kind of balancing this dual life, gets reconnected with a figure that's from her past that she doesn't realize is from her past, and they start to fall for each other, and then it gets very devastating. Like, it's like the tagline to the second book's like, an angel and a demon fell in love and destroyed the world, or something like that. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's pretty much the tagline. In a book, in the international one, which is easier for me to pull out than the US one, which is in the box set, it says, an angel and a demon held a wishbone between them, and then it snapped the world in two. So, like, you can imagine how this love story goes. So, that romance, at the end of it, like, we find out why this person was from her past and why she didn't know them, and then as she gets her memories back and realizes who he is, it just so happens that he thought her family had killed her, so he blows up all their homes, like blows up access to them, closes all of the doors into that other world that she is kind of torn between, and she has no idea if her family's alive or dead, and it's just as like she figures out who he is and why she feels the way she feels for him, and sees him again, and it's like, oh, I love you, you killed my what? I started book 2, and book 2 is angsty as fuck, and I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this. There's only 3 books, and I really don't know if there's ever, like, I can't. So, like, I love it. It's not a bad book. I just, like, my feels are not ready, bitch. Not ready. Like, the level of commitment to, like, for me to read a really angsty book when people hint at the fact that it probably, like, what you want to be resolved is still probably not going to be resolved in book 1, so it's just going to be straight hardcore angst. I want my happy ever after, like, now. And it's Laini Taylor, so I don't know that there's going to even be a happy ever after, no matter how much you got to work for it. So I'm scared. Very scared. I'm a romance reader. I want my happy ever after, and I want it, like, soon-ish. If I gotta work for it over a couple books, that's fine, but don't give me a couple books and then there is no happy ever after. And don't spoil it for me down in the comments. Don't tell me yay or nay. Don't say it is or it isn't. Don't say nothing, okay? Nothing. But just letting you know, and if you do that, I'm really pissed. But just letting you know, like, that's why I don't want to get into it yet, because I don't know where it's going to be, and if it's going to be one without a happily ever after, I might cry real tears. Like, I know it's 3 books and there's a solution, but, like, the way book 2 started, like, bitch, I'm scared. And then lastly, there is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, the second book being Muse of Nightmares. There are only 2 books in this one. This book ended with, well, I guess I should tell you what the book is about first. Strange the Dreamer is this very gorgeous fantasy book. Like, I don't even know how to tell you, how to describe what's gorgeous about it. The writing is beautiful, the detail is beautiful, the world building is beautiful. Like, everything about this book is just damn gorgeous, and that's without even looking at the way this book physically fucking looks. Like, it is incredible. This book, I feel like, is a masterpiece. This is one of my best reads that came out of book 2, because if it hadn't been for booktube, I never would have read it, because there are no summaries of this book anywhere, and there's a reason there are no summaries. Like, this is another one. Laini Taylor's work is just best to go into it blind, because part of the beauty in her writing is just the discovery. It's fucking incredible. We have Laszlo Strange, who is the main character. He is a dreamer. He is very much a head in the clouds kind of a person. He is very book smart, but he is also just very kind of wistful, very creative, very like romantic minded, if you would call it that. Like, not that he's thinking about in a romantic relationship or anything like that, but romantic minded, that he's just like a poet or like a passionate person about stories, about creation, about he's very soulful, we'll say it that way. There is this world that Laszlo is trying to discover, and through its discovery he falls in love with someone. And now, once more for the road, guys, say it with me, this is gonna be spoilery. Mute me until I put the book down. Just look over here so you don't read my lips if you're still looking. Alright, the person that he falls in love with ends up like stuck on a gatepost like a pig on a spit, and holy fuck. So this person, like, her ghost came back, but for those of you who have heard me bitch and complain about this book before, it's like, it's not even just that her ghost came back and it's kind of like, oh, well, this poses some problems romantically. No, her ghost came back and is basically under the control of somebody that's very fucked up. So, spoilers without being as spoilery as I could manage. But yeah, it's just a shitty situation, and Laszlo is such a, like, well, I can put this down now because it's not spoilers. Laszlo is such a, like I said, like a soft-hearted, like, soulful person, that him being put in a position at the end of the book where we know going into the next book he is either going to have to continue to be that soft-hearted, like, beautiful-minded, beautiful-spirited person and lose something important to him, or he's going to have to fight for what he wants and fight for those he loves and just turn into something that he has not been, no matter how much growth he had in this book. And it's just like, oh, holy shit, this shit's getting real. And it's all going to go down in this one book, and that I know that one book is the end of the story. I know this shit is about to be a roller damn coaster. And this is the kind of series that I want to drag out. Like, I don't ever want it to be over, but there is only 2 books. So, alright guys, those are the books that I have that I don't want them to be over. So that's why I haven't finished the series, even though all of these books, well, except for Iron Gold, I've read that up to the end. But just like with these other ones, I have the whole series and I have not finished them purposefully. It's probably going to be that when Dark Age comes out. I'm going to get it immediately, and then I'm just going to really hesitate in reading it because it's just like, holy crap. So yeah, these are books that I have. Like, I have Muse of Nightmares. You can see that little bit of orange right there. That's Muse of Nightmares. Stacked under Muse of Nightmares, the rest of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. I think it's up here. You can't see it. Is it up there? Yeah, it's up here behind the lamp. The next book in the City of Brass series. Also, the Crooked Kingdom is up there. So, and that book that I held up is the last book thus far in the Ember and the Ashes series. I can't. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I guess I'm just one of those readers. I get so emotionally invested that it can't be over. It's not allowed. That's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks for keeping up with me through this hectic, crazy ass video every day in April thing, because my videos have to be like quick. I don't get to explain it much. I don't get to put as much thought into them because still have other stuff I have to do, but I'm literally doing this every day. So thank you guys for sticking with me through this hastily edited mess. And I will see you tomorrow in the next one. Bye.